Hi, friends. Hi, friends. It's Rita from Miss Rita to the Rescue here for today's Cricut Chat. It's October 1st. Rabbit. It's the first day of the month of October. So since we are in the thick of it, we are going to be doing mostly Christmas, winter, fall, Thanksgiving things from now on. So good morning to everyone. Today we're going to be doing a really cute card that's free, and I let people know that there's a download available at 3dsvg.com, and I put a link to it on my page. It's free, but we also are going to be wanted to talk a little bit before we get to this card, and I want to show you how to really make it your own by putting a sentiment in it and also addressing the envelope if you want to send this out. So here's a pretty an example of it without the address. And I did this really beautiful sentiment on the inside, and I actually even jazzed it up with a little bit of patterned paper. So I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment. I do have a couple of things to tell you, and that is that we have already picked a project for Saturday night, and it's going to be from these guys here, Dreaming Tree. So when you're over there looking for the free card, if you haven't already downloaded it, it's called, I'm going to get the name wrong, but it's called the Googly Gobbler. Googly Gobbler. Let me just type that in. Yeah, I might just try Gobbler. Because, I mean, really, right? Gobbler. How is it that I'm not finding this? Oh my goodness, every time. Anyway, it's part of a bundle, but you don't have to buy it as a bundle. Here's the bundle, Autumn Calling SVG. And it has a pretty little, like a luminary that's an owl. And then it has this great big turkey that's a 3D turkey. And he's so much fun to make. I've made him before, and I want to do this with you on Saturday night. So much fun. So I do hope that you use the link that I provided yesterday and go ahead and download him. There is a cost if you buy it separately. I believe it's like $3.99. Okay, good. Yeah, you can either buy it in the grouping like this, and these are really pretty. And actually, my order from Michael's came in yesterday. Maybe I'll do this one here. My orders from Michael came in yesterday. That's another thing I wanted to mention. And I was able to get a whole bunch of these shadow boxes on sale at this most amazing price. Excuse me. Ugh. At an amazing price. So I'm going to be doing a project with the Rob and Bob Artspiration images that we found in Cricut Design Space. So I want to show you a little thing that I'm doing, basically taking their old calendar images and turning them into a monthly Artspiration piece of gallery art. So we're going to do that tomorrow since I got that in. Also, if anybody is looking for vellum paper, I was able to buy it at Michael's at a discount for 100 sheets. Man, I need a lozenge or something. I was able to get 100 sheets of vellum at Michael's on their website. I couldn't get it in the store, but this is 8.5 by 11 inch, and the price was reasonable. I want to say it was like $10 or $12. There's 100 sheets in there. Usually you pay like $5 for like 4 sheets. So, I mean, that's the deal of the century for me, since I use vellum a lot, and we're going to be using it a lot going into the holiday season. So there's that. And then before we go any further, I wanted to mention we've got this. This is my Cobalt, an extra Cobalt Cricut Cutie that I found in amongst my Cricut Cuties. And I have decided, oh, I apologize for the coughing. I'm so sorry. I've decided that I want to use him. What? Don't worry, he's safe in the box. But I want to use him to try to increase my viewership. And so I'm going to call on you guys to help me out to do this. And one person is going to win this adorable cobalt cutie. And he was, I think, a Thanksgiving cutie last year. I don't know that they've ever had him otherwise. So it's a really cute color, isn't it? And I only have one, but I do actually have a couple of other Cricut cuties. So if this one doesn't do the trick, then maybe I'll have to go for another one. But so anyway, what I'm trying to do, and I'll tell you, since you guys are always so helpful. All right. This cough has to go. I am trying to get my total subscribers on YouTube up to 10,000. I'm close. And I can't believe I'm even asking because like last year I was at like, I don't know, some ridiculously low number. But now I'm at like 8,400 and I just have to get like 1,600 more to hit 10,000. I like round numbers. So that's what I'm shooting for. And so I was thinking, 10,000 before Christmas, but I figure this might help me out. So I need for you guys to share this. And so I'm going to be making a series of posts to so that you can share. But the thing is, when you share, you have to be sharing on public, which is the earth symbol, because if you share individually, I can't see that you're sharing, because when you share publicly, and that means like instead of sharing just to your friends, you change it to public. When you share it publicly, I can see that you shared it. Right now, some of them, people who already shared, they shared it privately, like within their group, and so I can't see who shared it. So that's going to be a little bit of an issue. But going forward, and I will post continual links, please share, and maybe even when this is done, you could share this, and that could count. I don't care as long as you share it and help me meet my goal. So let us, that's all of the housekeeping for today. Let us talk about this really marvelous and free card from Dreaming Tree. When I was thinking about doing this card, where is it? Let's go back. It's free. Remember, this is an SVG that you'd have to download. So what you would do is you'd go to 3D SVG, locate the item, which is this one, Maple Leaf card. You would add it to your cart. You'd have to be logged in or create an account if you haven't already, but you have to be logged in and look at your cart. And did I not put that in my cart? What happened here? Okay, so I'm going to add it to my cart, you see? And then I'm going to view my cart, and there's no payment necessary, so you're just going to proceed to checkout and then place the order. Once you place the order, you'll get an option to download the file. Now, I've had a couple people on YouTube ask me about downloading files onto iPad, and this should work. I did do a video about it, but people were getting caught up in the zipping of the file. Oh, nice, Linda. The unzipping and the zipping of the files, and I'm going to be doing another video just for those folks that use the iPad on how to decompress a zipped file so it can be used on Cricut Design Space. But basically what happens is once you check out, you do this whole, I don't know what's going on here, but you do this whole download, and I don't know why it's not going to. It's usually like quick as a bunny. But anyway, so you download and it comes up into in your downloads. And so then you're going to upload the pieces. So in this case, here I am back at Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to hit this upload button here with that upward facing arrow. And then I'm going to go to upload images and go browse. And usually what happens here is that in your download file, there are all of your files. So these are all my files waiting for me to put them into Design Space. Now, the thing about 3D SVG is that they have a file, an SVG file for every color that they have. So you're going to, when you're doing this, you're going to have to pull in several different files for one project. So in this case, look, this is the red portion for this thing. So I'm going to pull them all in. And then when I have them all together, I'm going to click on all of the ones. So let's just look at this one. This is the sunflower box we did on Saturday night. It has 5 different pieces. So if I were going to make this, I would pull all 5 of these pieces into, or insert them into my canvas, okay? Which is exactly what I did here. So I brought all of these are all the pieces for the maple card. And I actually did a few things to make this my very own. One is I decided to add a sentiment to the card. So I put, autumn shows us how beautiful it is to let things go. I thought it was kind of cute. And this would be the kind of card that I would have sent to my aunt or my dad or something. Just a little cute little card that they could get in the mail. Now, mind you, this is a square card. So 2 things about that. One is I don't keep envelopes for square cards, so I would indeed make this envelope. So I want to show you how to address it. And the second thing is that you may need to get special postage if you're going to actually mail it. So do keep that in mind. If you go to mail it, maybe bring it to the post office and ask them what the postage is going to be. I don't know what it is, but I know that sometimes those odd shapes require a different kind of envelope. I suppose you could also, if I don't know, maybe it would fit in a 5x7, like the envelope itself would fit inside of a 5x7 envelope, maybe. And so you could put it in a regular envelope and then they could open it up. I don't know. So I have to go make the envelope. Yeah. So I wanted to show you how to add this sentiment and also to add this to your envelope. Okay. So other than that, this is a pretty straightforward project. I did add a few little pieces, like for instance, instead of cutting this out in a basic color, and Leo, if you watch Leo's video, he does a lot of inking, and we've talked about inking before. I just don't do inking. I mean, I will once in a while, but I make a glorious mess out of it. So for me, my way of inking is to dismiss with the inking and use patterned paper, which is what I did here. So for this piece is what I cut out in patterned paper. Okay. And there's actually one more piece that's not showing up here, and I don't know. Oh, here it is. Okay. So there's this piece, and so basically what it is this one card, and I'm going to show you how to put it together, but it has this insert on the back so that it can show through. And I thought, after a while, I thought, this would be an interesting one to put a patterned paper behind it. So you can play with this all you want and substitute paper all you like. Or you could ink it. You know, if you don't have a problem with inking, you could ink it. Another thing that I did was I used those foam mounting squares or dots or whatever to kind of give it a 3D look. So if you turn it sideways, you can see that I did do that. And I think, what else did I do? That's kind of it. I added the sentiment. So I'm going to show you how to add the sentiment. It's a great little card. Yeah, like Dorothy's saying, it's a great, yes, you could do foil. And so when people start getting their foil kits, this sort of thing could be done with foil, absolutely. The only thing you'd have to do is change the line type. So let's just talk about a sentiment inside, and then we'll talk about the envelope, okay? So let me see, I'm going to move some of these things out of the way, and then I'll show you how it works with writing. Because a lot of people, I think, are afraid of writing. Shouldn't be, because there's a lot of great things about writing. All right, so I'm just going to get rid of these. Not get rid of them, but hide them. Okay, so here is our card. Now, if you're stuck for a sentiment, I will suggest that you check out Google and just type in autumn sayings or autumn sentiments or card settings. Anything like that will get you some results, and you might have to sift through them. There's a couple that I like that I've used before, and this one I thought was really pretty. So basically I wanted a script font. So I'm just getting this set up so I can show you how to do it. Okay, so basically I wanted to add this autumn, shows us how beautiful it is to let things go. And so I'm going to add a text box, okay? So I'm going to go over to the big T there, and I'm going to hit text, that big T. And you'll notice the bottom left-hand corner of my screen, it comes up a blue, outlined box. This is where I'm going to type in whatever text that I want to text. So I will do it here, autumn. And actually, I'm going to kind of, it's doing the actual font that I was doing it in. I want to show you how to actually do this. So we'll just put it at Cricut. Cricut Sans, I think, is the one that it normally comes up in. All right. So here's autumn. That's what I get for preparing ahead of time. Okay. So I'm typing autumn shows us how beautiful it is to let things go, okay? And when my screen catches up with me, so here is what it looks like. And obviously it's way too big. It's not in a draw file, and I have to put some returns, carriage returns, or page breaks, or whatever you want to call it, and in there. So, but this is how it would start off as. So the first thing I probably want to do is put some page breaks or, carriage returns. So I would click on it again. My little blue box would come up. And so I think what I'll do is I'll do a carriage return here. Autumn shows us how beautiful. And then here after beautiful, I put another carriage return. Okay, so now it's starting to look like it might be able to work, but the next thing I have to do is change it to a draw file. So I'm going to go up to font, and this one here is set at Cricut Sans, but normally you get this big, huge list of fonts. Now, I want to write it with a pen. Hi, April. I want to write it with a pen. So I'm going to choose a writing font. Now, if I don't want, you could certainly go through this and scroll and scroll and scroll, which to me is like, it's really not a pleasant thing. So what I do is I usually filter, and I choose something like writing. So here under filter, which is to the right of the search fonts box, you have my fonts, multi-layer fonts, single layer fonts, writing, and saved for offline, okay? And so I'm going to choose writing. And by choosing writing, it will put a little tiny gray square next to it. And if you don't want to look just at writing ones, you'd have to clear the filter or click on that square again, and it would go away. Okay, so that is a way of doing the filter for writing. You can also discern between only your fonts that you have on your computer system. So if you're somebody that does a lot of fonts, like free fonts or purchase fonts, this would show by hitting System. And then there's also the Cricut fonts, which will show you all of the Cricut fonts. Okay, so there are other ways that you can sort of winnow down those types of fonts. Obviously, there are some fonts that you might just take a liking to. And in this case, I chose Hathaway font. So I knew Hathaway was the one I wanted. So I'm going to search by the name, Hathaway. Let's hope it comes up. Here it is, Hathaway. All right. So I'm going to choose Hathaway. And here is it's getting better. Let me see if I can't move this up here so you can see. Isn't it starting to look better? But boy, there's a lot of spaces in there and it's not centered, and I think it should look centered. So let's go and make some changes here. First of all, I'm going to choose alignment, which is right here next to line space. Alignment, center. And you'll notice that some of the letters are sort of spaced here. Now you can do a couple things with this. First, you could just kind of make your sentiment smaller to fit on the card, and that will help with a lot of the spacing issues. So here I am with my card, and then I'm going to put it here and start to see, okay, it's starting to look better, not so spacey, like not too many spaces. But there are other things that you can do here. You can go to this thing called letter space, and you can keep hitting the down button and it will start to pull some of those letters together. But this doesn't always work 100% of the time. So one of the things that I like to show people is I like to show them how to do an advanced technique, which is over here, advanced, and that is ungrouping two letters or ungrouping two lines. Now, we've done this a number of times, but I'm going to show it to you again because I think people get a little scared about it. So here's our sentiment, and right now it's all in one text box, right? So if I want to make a change to anything about the text itself, this is when I should do it before I do advance by letters, because once we do separate by letters, it sort of obliterates that text box, okay? So we're going to advance and we're going to do ungroup to letters. What does that do? Well, what that does is it makes each letter independent. All right, so here, autumn. So you can start moving the letters either closer together or farther apart. In most cases, I'm doing it so I can do them closer together. So for example, like I don't mind the way this looks, but a lot of people would want for it to be connected, as if when you're doing like handwriting, you don't do one letter and take a break with your pen. You do it together. So autumn here, at least the TUMN should be connected, right? So here's what I do is I move these letters and I sort of juxtapose them. They have to be sort of touching, okay? So it does take a little bit of practice, and if you have to make it bigger so you can see what you're doing. But here you go. This is what I'm doing. I'm just moving the letters so that they all look like they're connected. However, I'm going to move this guy down a little bit, and I think the T needs to come down a little tiny bit. Not sure if it should be connected to the autumn. And I don't think that maybe the U could be connected, but I don't think the A needs to be connected, but it does need to be a little bit closer. Now, this is an art form, okay? So you could spend a lot of time doing this, right? So don't if you're like, I'm fine with the, I don't need to do the advanced technique, then just ignore this part of my thing that I'm telling you, because this of all things, working with Cricut, probably one of the most hair pulling kind of things. So it does require a lot of patience. And if you don't want to do it and you're happy with the way that it was, then you could just say, yeah, Rita, I'm all set with that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just go back and see what I'm doing. I'm undoing all of my work by using this sort of back button. That's the undo button. So let me see if I can't just go back to here. So if you're fine, that's okay. I know you're paying attention. I'm just going to talk right over you though, Dawn. So if you're fine with the way this looks, or if you're not, whatever, and you want to play with that, then do that. Do that if you want. But then once you're done and you're happy with the way that it looks, you need to select both of these things, and you're going to attach. Remember, attach is that little paper clip. So you're going to choose paper clip, okay? And that will attach it to your card. Now when you go to cut it, it will be attached, and it will happen at the same time as the cutting. Well, actually happen before the cutting. So now if you have a foil kit coming and you want to do this in foil, and why wouldn't you, right? This is what you would need to do. You need to change the line type. So I'm going to detach this just for now so you can see what I mean. So here's my sentiment that I want to put inside my card, and I want to do as foil. So I have to go up here to line type, choose draw, and then foil, and I probably choose fine. And that's it, right? You still need to attach it to your card, of course, but that's all you'd have to do on the screen. Then you'd have to obviously set up the machine with the font tool and the foil and all of that. But this is how you would actually make that change here, and then you attach it just like you attached the font when it was doing the pen. Okay, so here's an envelope, and I'm going to actually cut this envelope. Now, I have decided, I decided that with this envelope, it's going to be held this way. I didn't know which way, so I thought, okay, this way is the way that I want to do it. But I can also show you how you would do it here if you wanted to. So this way, I would have my return address here, top left, and then I would have my address here in the sort of the right-hand side or middle of the envelope. So I did two separate text boxes here. And let me just go ahead and ungroup or detach these so you can see what I did. And all I did was I created a text box again. That's what this is, my dad. And I created a text box. I did T, and then I typed in what I wanted to put for my envelope. Now listen, if you want to send out a lot of these, rather than having your machine do it, just have your machine do your return address and then hand letter the envelopes. Or if it's for a really special occasion, then you'd have to create an envelope for each person that's receiving it. So, or you can create one and go back every time and do one at a time. That's the way that you could do that. So anyway, so I'm putting in Mr. Anthony Cavicchio. I don't even know if I spelled his name right. Anthony Cavicchio. I did. Okay. So, and then I just hit return, and I did his address, Glen Street and Somerville. Oop, I spelled Somerville wrong. Mass. Okay. So obviously it's already in that text that I was doing for the sentiment inside of the card. And by the way, I would match the sentiment on the envelope as I would in the inside of the card. I just think it looks really elegant. So it obviously it comes up that way, but if I wanted to make a change, I didn't want to use that one, then I could certainly make that change by going up to font and style and choosing something else. But for now, I do like that it's the same. I like that it's left justified because I think that's the way envelopes should look. And so just to pull this over, it's still a bit big though. So I'm going to just like resize it like this. That's a little small. My computer's a little slow today. I don't know what's going on. Okay, here we go. So that might maybe be a good size. Nah, I think it should be a little bit bigger. So let me do that. All right. And then for the return address, I did the exact same thing. I took this, wow, my computer is so slow today. I wonder if it's Design Space. But I did this with my, wow, so slow. I apologize, folks. I don't know if it's my computer or if it's Design Space. But so anyway, I put this here. I just made another text box. I made it smaller just by resizing it. Now this is the way I like it. Just going to move this out of the way. Oh, so slow. Okay, here we go. All right, so then we have to attach everything. So go ahead and pull it up and do attach. Now we're ready to do the writing and the cutting for this envelope. So we're going to hit make it and what happened? So there's my sentiment, and guess what? My sentiment is not attached. This actually is the other sentiment that I did. So I need to go and get rid of this, or I could just, you know what I could do? I could either, is it going to let me do it? I can just go here and do hide selected. That's also an option, or you could go back and just like hide it from your canvas. Okay, so now I just got rid of the one of the three mats, and here is my mat for my envelope. So I'm going to hit continue, and I actually do have a piece of paper here. So I'm going to do this on medium cardstock, and it's telling me that I need to add a pen in there. Now I don't need a scoring stylus or a scoring wheel because this is an imported SVG and it uses those dashed cut lines. So I don't need that in there. So I'm going to take that out. I always leave it in my machine. And today I'm going to use this gel pen. It's a 1.0. I love the thickness of these gel pens. It's dusty rose, but to me it looks kind of brownish. So I'm going to use it. Now, before I use it, just take a minute and just make sure that the ink is flowing okay, because once it gets started, there's no real way, if it blips, there's no real way of fixing that. So I just always check my pen before I do. Remember, if you're working with an Explorer or a Maker, you have to hold this so you don't actually loosen this whole clamp. You hold it, you click it in, and then you close the clamp, and then you hit go, which isn't in view, but let's just go ahead and hit go. Now it's going to do the writing first, which just seems a little weird to our, to our human brains, but not to a computer brain, okay? And just by the way, the paper that I used for this came from Michael's. It's called Pumpkin Spice, and people have always asked me where I get my solid cardstock, and I do get it from Cricut, but also from Michael's. And here's a great one that it actually matches with a patterned paper that they use. That's right, David. That's right, David. So Dorothy's asking, what about using, I suppose she's saying, if you use cardstock, it might crack. And so this is a paper that I did use, Dorothy, and it does crack a little bit, and you can certainly replace this. This is called a dashed cut line. And there is a little bit of cracking here. Now, if you want to, you can replace that with a solid score line. And then you shouldn't have, if you use the score stylus or the scoring wheel, you shouldn't have that cracking. But it does happen here. You could ink this, or you could try if you weren't putting a return address, you could try using the other side. That sometimes will help with the cracking. Did I mention inking? Or you can just learn to love it, which is kind of how I am with the dashed score lines. It does, you know, you can see it. So I would either replace it with a score line or just learn to love it. I probably wouldn't do anything else with that. So, and then the paper, I told you about the paper. Okay. You're not a shopper, Dawn. Oh yeah. I don't know if you have Michael's up there. Yeah, you have Michael's up there. Yeah, and it's a great pad of paper, and it does definitely match with some of their other. They have like a pumpkin spice patterned one. I like it. It's good, and I use it for a lot of the fall things. Yeah, I'm not sure if this file does actually. A lot of files, Dave is saying, file gives you option for a solid score line. I'm not sure if this one does. But maybe it does. I don't know. But that's where you would find in the SVG that you downloaded, okay? So it's already done my address and return address, and it's doing my cutout. And so we're just going to just watch it do the cutout, and then I'm going to show you how I put it together. Isn't it fascinating? I love watching my machine. I don't often do it though. I really should. But so that's what it's doing right now, is it's doing, it is embossed. Yeah, Deborah. Hold on a second. Oh, you mean the paper is embossed? So I want to tell you, one of our groupies here, Daryl, I think, she asked me to show you how to do embossing. Now, I just wanted to clarify, because I asked her this as well. Embossing cannot be done on a Cricut right now that I know of. I have not ever seen that. Embossing is when you take paper and you put it, there's several types of embossing, but the one that she's talking about is a dry emboss. So what you do is you put it inside of a folder, a plastic folder that has all of these. It's almost like a cookie cutter type of thing. It's got all these like different divots in it. And then you would put it inside of this embossing folder and run it through a hand crank machine. And there are a lot of machines out there. There's like a Sizzix machine. I think Anna Griffin has her own machine. There's all kinds of machines. And I can certainly show you that if that's something you want to do. I have embossing, but it's not a Cricut machine, just so that you know. Cricut used to have a machine that did this. It was called the Cuttlebug. And I used to have the Cuttlebug as well. But they kind of got away from that. They want to just focus on their non-manual machines, their machines. So if that's something you want to see, then definitely let me know. What the Cricut can do, it's in only the maker, is it can do something called deboss. Okay, it's done. Deboss is actually pushing down into the paper and leaving an imprint that way. And yes, we can do that, and I can show you that way. But I just kind of wanted to know if either one of those things is something that you want to see. Okay, so there is our envelope. Okay, and all you have to do is fold here, and look what I did. I smudged it. Okay, wait until the pen dries, folks, because it's very wet. All right, but so let me show you how to put it together. Boop, I made a mistake. Okay. All right, so here's our card. Like this. I'm going to show you how I put it together. It has that nice lift to it, and I also used this pretty paper. So let me show you all the pieces. I'm going to use this envelope that I cut out earlier that doesn't have the return address. So be careful when you're taking it out so that it doesn't smudge. Haha, there you learned. You learned from me. Okay, so let's do the envelope first. The envelope is two pieces. It's this piece that we just showed you, and you'd have to fold it here, here, and here, and we're going to glue it shut. But before we do that, we have this one piece, and you need to make sure that this piece goes on. It's tempting to try to get these pieces to line up, but you don't want to do that. You want to actually follow where that score line is, and what it will make is it will make like a little scalloped edge here and will show through. Normally it wouldn't look like that, and I just wanted to clear that up with people in case that they wanted to try and they say, I can't close my envelope. Okay, so let's go. All right, I'm just putting a little bit of glue. I probably should put more, but all right, I'm going to put this here. Press it down, see? Try not to put too much in there, okay? Because you can't take glue away so easily as you can just add more. And we'll get the envelope ready, and then we'll do the card. So this is how it goes together. Now, in our example that I smudged, you turn it over, and this would be the address and the return address. And I think that that's the way it should go. Yeah, I think so, because then they'd turn it over, boop, and they'd open it up at the top. So that's the way that I would do it. Okay, so let it dry, closed. Put it aside. Now we've got our card and all of these pieces. Okay, so I'm going to fold the card right here. And lay out the pieces before you start gluing. So this one here is for the inside, so it shows brown, which I like, but you could certainly use a patterned piece there for sure. This is for the back. I like that too. And then this one goes over. And here is where we're going to put our, our foam mounting squares, and then this goes over the top. Now you could cut it out in solid. I didn't. I cut it out in pattern, but if you wanted to make it thicker, you can cut it out in both and do that, which that's always a possibility. So let's work on the outside. Well, actually work on the inside first, because we just have one piece there, and that's this brown piece, and we're going to put a little bit of glue on all of these little pieces. Please be very careful not to use too much. Just dot, 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 like I'm doing here, because you don't want it to like squish out. Plus, if you use too much glue, it takes longer to dry and sometimes causes wrinkling and things like that. You just don't want that, all right? So I'm going to also put a little bit of beaded circle around there. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on around here. You see, if I just did this part, then this piece can lift and cause problems. So that's why I do it on here and then on this, and I'm just going to place it, sort of try to evenly place it, and you push down here. And then we're going to lift it and pick it up. Now, in the event that this happens, where you've used too much glue, and everybody can, learn to use less glue, but even I do it when I'm in a hurry. So I use something like this to just sort of pick up some of that glue. Somebody told me baby wipes work, but I don't have any babies in the house, and so I don't normally use baby wipes. So this is what I would do. This glue dries clear too, so I suppose I'm just being a little bit fussy. All right, so I flipped it over, and I'm going to put this patterned piece on the back. You don't have to put this on there, but I thought it looked nice. I thought about also putting something on the back. You know how like when you get a card at Hallmark or whatever, it has who the manufacturer is and the price and stuff. I thought it would be kind of nice to have your own stamp that had that so that people would know where the card came from, but I've just never gotten around to making one or getting one made. So, all right, so we're going to put this piece on next. Again, we're just dotting. Try to use as little glue as possible. You don't want it to leak out the sides. And then, actually I shouldn't even do that. I should put it over here on this because I don't want it to. Here we go. I'm gonna line it right on up there. There we are. It's already coming together. It looks really pretty. And again, let's see. This is where we're going to be putting our, I think that's where I put it. Yeah, that's where I put it. We're going to be putting our foam mounting on the back of this piece, which goes over here. At first I kind of struggled with this and I'm like, well, why didn't, because I think it's for the scalloped edge, and by putting the scalloped edge a little bit higher up, it looks like it's a framed thing. So I think that's why he added that piece. So here are the foam mounting squares, and they're actually circles. Pop dots is what I call them. But I use sometimes because I'm really frugal, sometimes I just use the pieces you pop off these dots, but then you have these, like this grid left. So I just, being a frugal person, use these pieces as well because they have the sticky on both sides, right? So I flip this over and cut up little pieces from this. And I'm going to... Clearly, they're not like as uniform of a size, and you might have to, make them fit. But hey, anything to save a few pennies, right? Okay, so I'm putting my foam mounting doohickeys. I'm not going to call them circles or squares. Things on there. And you see I'm taking off one of the sides, just one. And keep going until you get all those squares. You kind of want them to be equally spaced so that you don't have one part of the card sort of fall or get pushed in, I suppose. All right. And once you have that on there, you're going to take off all of these sides. Boop, boop. There we go. And it's sticky, be careful. All right, take off all these sides, and then we're going to place it over here using these little pieces that kind of a teardrop shape as a guide here and here. And then we're going to come back with the cover. So we can either use this solid or the patterned, or both. I'm just going to use the patterned one for this one. And a little bit of glue. Oh, this little piece isn't cut out. All right. And there you have it. A really cute card that you've personalized. Glue is still wet, but you've personalized to make your own, and you have your own little envelope too. Now you could hand deliver this if you want, or you can go to the post office and get special postage on this. That's up to you. But isn't it adorable? Do you like it? It's really cute, I think. And it's a great little thing to add to your card repertoire. And now you know how to put return address labels and addresses on envelopes. All right, everyone. I hope you're all still with me. Let's see. Tomorrow. I haven't decided what we're doing tomorrow, but when I do, I will put the link up and let you know. sometime this afternoon. I think there's actually 2 things that I have been, oh, I know what I said I was going to do. I was going to do those shadow box artspiration things. So let's do that. And I'm going to show you how to use and make these shadow boxes that you can mix and match. Like you can have a piece of art that you do every month and you can change it out. It's really cute. Thanks everybody for coming today. My name is Rita, and this is my channel, Miss Rita to the Rescue. Thanks for joining me here live on Cricut Chat. And if you aren't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is found at Miss Rita to the Rescue when you go to YouTube. And if you want to get notified of when I go live, you do have to be following me here on Facebook as well. Thanks everybody for coming today, and I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye everyone.